He planned to take my millions in divorce, until my secret document made the judge mock him. "I'm claiming half your millions, including your grandfather's estate," Ryan boasted with a smug smirk, his voice echoing through the Chicago courtroom like he'd just won the lottery. That brazen confidence twisted my gut, but I stayed calm at the defense table, knowing his greedy plot was about to implode spectacularly. "My name's Sophia Reynolds. I'm 44, and I never imagined I'd be in a divorce court in Illinois, watching my husband of 7 years try to swipe everything I'd built from scratch." Ryan lounged across the room with his slick lawyer, acting like he'd already cashed the check. His designer suit, bought with my money, naturally was sharp as a tack, and his dark hair was slicked back in that charming style that once made my heart race, but now just made me sick. "Your Honor," Ryan's attorney pressed on, "my client deserves half of all marital assets, including the substantial inheritance Mrs. Reynolds received during their marriage." The lawyer's briefcase brimmed with papers, all scheming how Ryan would walk off with my grandfather's hard-earned fortune. The courtroom crowd leaned in, hooked on what they thought was a massive payout drama. Some were probably crunching numbers, guessing Ryan's take. A few reporters had slipped in, drawn by whispers of a multi-million-dollar split involving a big-shot Chicago venture capitalist. Judge Harlan, a tough guy in his early 60s with a salt and pepper beard, scanned the filings with a poker face. He'd run family court for over 25 years, likely seen every trick in the book, but something told me he hadn't seen my trump card. Ryan turned to flash me what he thought was a winning grin. The audacity set my blood boiling. This was the guy who'd brought me coffee in bed, swearing he loved me for me, not my money. 7 years of marriage, and it was all a lie. The room felt heavy with its dark wood paneling and the weight of legal stakes. Outside, Chicago's streets buzzed faintly, people living normal lives while mine was dissected publicly. I gripped my bag tighter, feeling the envelope inside that would flip everything. "Mrs. Reynolds," Judge Harlan called out, "got a response to these claims." I stood slowly, heart pounding, but resolve ironclad. This was it, the moment Ryan's greed would backfire. "Your Honor, there's a document the court needs to see." Looking back, I should have caught the red flags early. Ryan swept me off my feet when I was vulnerable. At 37, I was growing my investment firm, Windy City Ventures, with solid success but no time for romance. My grandfather was my rock until he passed 4 years before I met Ryan at a Milwaukee venture summit. He was charismatic, attentive, acting enthralled by my work funding startups and scaling innovations. "You're a visionary," he'd say, eyeing my portfolios. "Nobody gets markets like you." I thought it was admiration. Now I know he was calculating my net worth. Our romance was a whirlwind of upscale dinners and exotic getaways. Ryan, a finance consultant for a brokerage, always had cash for extravagance. "I invest in those I love," he'd say when I questioned his spending. Blinded by his charm, I missed his long-term plan. His proposal came after 10 months. I hesitated. Grandpa warned against guys who moved too fast, but Ryan insisted. "Life's short, seize it," he urged. "You're my forever." It was lavish, a private yacht dinner with live strings. The ring sparkled, likely beyond his salary, but I didn't dwell on it then. My lawyer, Lisa Markham, pushed for a prenup. "Smart women protect themselves," she said. "Practical, not romantic." Bringing it up felt awkward. I feared Ryan would think I doubted him, but he laughed it off. "Sure, sweetheart, whatever makes you comfortable. I'm here for you, not your money." He signed without reading, joking, "Love doesn't need fine print." His ease soothed my worries. "Just a sweet formality," he said, signing with a flourish, like vowing eternal love with extra clauses. Relief hit me. He seemed so understanding. Lisa's prenup was airtight, shielding my current assets, future inheritances, and business growth. "Your grandfather's estate will come to you," she noted. "This keeps it in your family." It felt overly cautious then, but it was pure genius now. The shock came 20 months into our marriage when I got the call about Grandpa's estate. He left me everything, his lake house, stocks, vintage art collection, and $4.1 million in savvy investments. It was way more than I expected, transforming my finances overnight. Ryan's eyes lit up when I told him. "4.1 million, he repeated, stunned. "Sophia, we're rich." That where should have been my first clue. From that moment, Ryan's behavior shifted. He quit his job 8 months later, claiming he wanted to chase new ventures and support my success. Instead, he treated my money like his personal ATM. He bought a sleek sedan for networking, sank $50,000 into a friend's failed fintech startup without asking me, booked extravagant trips, joined a ritzy yacht club, and dressed like he'd always been wealthy. When I questioned his spending, he'd say, "We're partners. Couples trust each other with money." The breaking point came when I overheard him at the club, bragging that the inheritance was our money. He posed as a venture capitalist, conveniently forgetting it was Grandpa's nest egg. When I confronted him, he turned nasty. "Don't act shocked I married up," he snapped. "Before me, you were a lonely workaholic with no life." His words cut deep because there was a sliver of truth. I had been lonely, and Ryan brought excitement. But I saw his game, playing my savior while plotting to claim my inheritance. The final straw was finding emails between Ryan and his lawyer, scheming divorce timing to maximize his payout. He'd researched Illinois divorce laws, arguing his emotional support earned him a bigger slice. That's when I called Lisa and filed for divorce myself. I wasn't letting him control the story or timeline. If he wanted a fight over Grandpa's money, he'd get one, just not the way he planned. In the courtroom, I was ready to expose his greed. I pulled out the manila envelope Lisa had prepped for this moment. The room went quiet, save for the rustle of paper and the faint hum of the AC. Ryan's smug look faltered as I approached the judge's bench. "Your Honor," I said, voice steady, "the court needs to review this document." Judge Harlan took the envelope. "What's this, Mrs. Reynolds?" "A prenuptial agreement signed before our marriage 7 years ago." The air crackled with tension. Ryan's lawyer, lanky Victor Hale, shot up like he'd been zapped. "Your Honor, we weren't informed of any prenup. This is irregular." "Sit down, Mr. Hale," Judge Harlan commanded, unsealing the envelope. "I'll decide what's valid." I sat back, locking eyes with Ryan. His face slid from cocky to confused to near panic in seconds. He whispered frantically to Hale, gesturing wildly. I caught snippets. "She never said, 'How's this possible?'" Lisa stayed calm beside me, whispering, "Just watch." She'd prepped this moment for months, every detail bulletproof. Judge Harlan read the prenup slowly, each page a nail in Ryan's coffin. The document was ironclad. It protected my premarital assets, kept debts separate, and explicitly covered any inheritance. "This appears to be a properly executed prenuptial agreement," he announced after careful review. "Signed 9 weeks before the marriage, witnessed by 2 notaries, and endorsed by both parties." Hale slumped in his seat. He'd filed the case assuming an easy grab, never checking for a prenup. Ryan leapt up. "I need to see that. I don't remember signing it." Judge Harlan's brow arched. "Mr. Reynolds, sit and let your counsel handle this." But Ryan was unraveling, his polished facade cracking. "Sophia, what's this? You never said it was a trap." "Mr. Reynolds," the judge snapped. "Silence, or I'll hold you in contempt." Hale approached the bench reluctantly, his face paling with each page. He returned, whispering urgently to Ryan, who shook his head in disbelief. The crowd buzzed, reporters' pens scratching as they captured Ryan's public humiliation. Hale requested a recess to review the document. Judge Harlan checked his watch. "You didn't verify prenups before filing." Hale's silence was damning. Ryan's arrogance had blindsided his own lawyer. 10 minutes, the judge granted. "But this looks binding and impacts your claims heavily." During the break, Ryan and Hale huddled by the windows, Ryan's gestures growing desperate as Hale explained the prenup's weight. I saw the moment Ryan realized his plan was toast. Lisa reviewed her notes, predicting, "He'll claim fraud or duress. Guys like him always point fingers." She was right. When court resumed, Hale launched a weak argument. "Your Honor, my client was misled about the document's nature. Mrs. Reynolds called it a romantic formality, not a full asset shield." Judge Harlan looked unimpressed. "So he signed without reading. He trusted his fiancée's honesty," Hale stammered. I nearly laughed. Ryan, who prided himself on reading people, was now painted as naively trusting. "It's clearly labeled a prenuptial agreement," Judge Harlan noted, flipping pages. "It warns to seek independent counsel. Did he waive that?" Hale shuffled papers nervously. "Yes, Your Honor. Notarized in his presence, confirming identity." "Yes." The judge turned to Ryan. Mr. Reynolds, were you coerced or under duress? Red with embarrassment, Ryan muttered, No, but Sophia said it was just paperwork. Did you read it? The question hung like a guillotine. Ryan squirmed, searching for an escape. Silence stretched until he admitted, I skimmed it. She said it was a formality. Judge Harlan's expression was pure disdain. You signed a legal contract without reading, waived counsel, and now want it voided because you didn't take it seriously. The courtroom was silent, reporters frozen, captivated by Ryan's downfall. Satisfaction surged watching him squirm under the judge's glare. Hale made a last-ditch plea. Perhaps the agreement's unconscionable given the financial disparity. Judge Harlan cut him off. Have you reviewed the disclosures with the prenup? Hale fumbled. They're extensive, Your Honor. Indeed. Mrs. Reynolds provided full details of her assets, income, and expected inheritance. Your client signed acknowledging he understood. This is one of the tightest prenups I've seen in 25 years. Ryan looked sick, the charming hustler finally facing consequences. Judge Harlan read aloud, voice clear in the hushed room. Section 4, Paragraph A, premarital assets remain separate property. Paragraph B, any inheritance during marriage is separate, not divisible in divorce. Ryan's face cycled red to pale to green, gripping the table, knuckles white. That can't be legal, he muttered, loud enough for some to hear. Section 6, the judge continued, no alimony for either party, regardless of marriage length or income gap. Initialed and witnessed, it left no cracks. I stood. Your Honor, may I speak? When I inherited my grandfather's estate, I confirmed with my attorney it was protected under Section 4B. It's in separate accounts, never mixed with marital funds. Judge Harlan nodded. Did you use any inheritance for joint expenses? No, Your Honor. My regular income covered household costs. The inheritance stayed untouched. Ryan exploded. That's a lie. She paid for trips, bought stuff for us. Mr. Reynolds. Judge Harlan's voice was ice. You're out of order. Sit down. But Ryan's mask was gone. This is insane. I supported her for 7 years, gave up my career. You quit to spend my money, I said quietly, unable to resist. Mrs. Reynolds, the judge warned, but his tone held a hint of amusement. Hale tugged Ryan's sleeve, desperate to stop the meltdown, but Ryan's true colors shone through. She trapped me, he shouted. Made me think we shared everything. Mr. Reynolds, one more outburst and the bailiff escorts you out. The threat finally silenced him. He slumped, chest heaving, but the damage was done. Everyone saw the greedy man who married for money, playing victim when his plan tanked. Judge Harlan reviewed the final pages with care, tension thick as we awaited his ruling. A calm satisfaction settled over me. After years of Ryan's lies, truth was breaking free. Judge Harlan removed his glasses, fixing Ryan with a stare that could freeze fire. Mr. Reynolds, this prenup is valid, comprehensive, and binding. You're entitled to nothing from your wife's premarital assets, inheritance, or business holdings. The words hit Ryan like a sledgehammer. His jaw dropped, eyes wide with disbelief. Nothing, he whispered. Nothing, Judge Harlan confirmed. Per Section 7, individual debts stay with the incurring party. Mrs. Reynolds, do you have documentation of your husband's debts? Lisa handed me a thick folder, which I passed to the bailiff. Yes, Your Honor. Credit card debt, a car loan, a failed startup investment, and yacht club fees, $112,000, all in his name. Hale looked like he wanted to vanish. His surefire case had crumbled. Mr. Reynolds, the judge continued, you receive no assets and remain liable for $112,000 in debts accrued during the marriage. The courtroom buzzed, a stifled laugh echoing behind me. Ryan went from dreaming of millions to facing bankruptcy in minutes. Your Honor, Ryan croaked, 7 years of marriage means nothing. Judge Harlan's grin was razor sharp. It means an expensive lesson, Mr. Reynolds. Read before you sign. The gavel slammed, thunderous. Divorce granted to Mrs. Reynolds. No assets to Mr. Reynolds. Debts remain with the incurrer. Court adjourned. Ryan sat stunned as reality sank in. He'd schemed for 7 years only to be undone by a prenup he'd dismissed. As people left, I watched his world collapse. Hale packed his briefcase, eager to escape the embarrassment. Reporters approached, but Lisa deflected them expertly. Sophia, Ryan called as I stood to leave. We need to talk. I faced him one last time. Ryan, it was over when you chose my money over me. Your greed, not the prenup, ruined you. His face crumpled, hit by the weight of no fortune and crushing debt. Walking out with Lisa, I felt lighter than ever. The nightmare ended, Ryan's true nature exposed, justice served with poetic irony. Post-divorce, Ryan's life tanked. The $112,000 debt forced bankruptcy within months, wrecking his credit and lifestyle. Chicago's business scene shunned him as the gold digger story spread. His club membership was revoked, his car repossessed, leaving him on buses. Dating dried up, women warned each other off. He moved in with his parents in Milwaukee, taking a low-level sales job at 46, dreams shattered. I used part of my inheritance to start the Reynolds Fund, helping women secure prenups and divorce aid against predators like Ryan. Grandpa's wisdom saved me from more than financial loss. It freed me from a user who saw love as a cash grab. If this story hit you, if you felt the sting of lies or fought to rise above, do me a favor. Smash that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear it. Comment below, what would you have done in my shoes? Would you have exposed them like I did or walked away? Drop your city in the comments. Let's see where Darkside Revenge fans are watching from. And if you want more tales of justice, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. Every story I share is a reminder. Even in the darkest betrayal, there's strength to rebuild.